Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're here for the very first time, you are so welcome. I'm Jane. I live with my husband Mike, who's behind the camera. We're early retirees, debt and mortgage free, retired and living here in France. Now every Wednesday we open our home and invite you in for a mid-week money chat. So let's take a look at what we're going to have a chat about this week. So this week's midweek money chat is all about preparing for a no spend month. Now, if you're returning to the channel, you'll know that Mike and I have 3 no spend months of the year. We also have a no spend week every single month. We have the last week of every month where we don't spend any money at all. We don't go to the supermarket, we don't put fuel in the car, we don't buy anything. So we're kind of old hands at this not spending money. And I like to be transparent with you. It's not such a big deal for us to have a no spend month. We don't eat out. We don't go and buy takeaways. We seldom, if ever, go out for coffee. We rarely, we can't actually remember the last time we went into a bar. We're not spendy people. We're home people. We like our own space and we like our own time. And we don't actually like shopping for entertainment. We're very much the type of people who go into a shop with intent and get what we need and get out as fast as possible. But that doesn't mean that we're not aware that lots of people do shop and they like to do it. They like to go into shops and look for new things. We in particular do like going to charity shops. Even though we go with intent, we do like a nose round at the same time. So we're not immune to it. We're not immune to spending. We're not those people who don't spend because we want to go without, or we're just stingy people. We're not that at all. We don't spend money on things we don't want, and we do spend money on things that we do want. So I like to put that out there to start with. And of course we understand that the people have things that they want to spend their money on. We're cool with that because we spend money on things that we want to spend money on. So let's get looking at the ways that we can prepare for a no spend month. The first point to consider if you're going to have a no spend month or no spend months is to pick out what works best for you. Now, we pick the months that suit us, and really there's no great reason to it. We pick January, but honestly we could pick January, February, March. We're not doing much at that time of the year. We tend to take August off. We don't do a lot in August, so that might be the time where we do want to go and spend some money. So you can see where I'm going with this. Now, but you need to sit there and think through to you. Is there something that happens in your cultural calendar or your social calendar? We all know Christmas as an example, but are there things and events that happen in your locality that you love to go to at certain times of the year? Is there a season where you know you want to go visit your family, or your family to come and visit you, for example? Is there a season where you like to go out and do a bulk load of shopping? Buying things for the winter to stock up on, for example, or buying things for the summer because you know you're going to have the children off school, eating more and wanting more. Those are just examples. So the first thing that you need to think of is how it suits you, and it is unique to you. But we rationalise it out like as this. So we don't need much in January. The weather is terrible. We're not going to be going anywhere, and we don't do the January sales. We then just pick July, and we pick July just because it's a low income month. And then we pick October or November as it suits us, just because we're going to pick those 3 months. To be honest with you, we could pick more. We choose 3. I think 3 is a good place to start for us, but 1 could be a great one for you. So pick your month. pick it that it suits your family, that it doesn't conflict with the things that you want to do. So first of all, pick your month. Now, point number 2 is about setting your parameters. Now, you always need to think about how these rules are going to work for you. So first of all, I'll explain to you our rules, our parameters. In a no-spend month, our budget looks exactly the same except for the one line that says discretionary spending. Now, in July, there is no discretionary spending. Our budget doesn't stretch to any at all. And we're going to have to move our budget around, and I'll share that with you another time because it's a low income month. So our parameters for July will be, we buy our food at the supermarket only as normal, and we put fuel in our car. And there are things that we will not do. We will not buy any plants. We will not go to the garden centre. We will not buy anything at the DIY store. We will not order anything online. We only ever buy food in the supermarket anyway. We won't buy any clothing. So those are our parameters. Yours might be totally different. Yours might just say, we aren't going to order anything from Amazon. We aren't going to have any takeaways. We won't buy any wine this month, or we will not eat out this month. You may have something that you would do with that money. You will say, right, at the end of this month, we're going to take all of that money that we would have spent on whatever you spend it on, and we are going to boost our savings account by that. And that is what we do in the early months of the year when we're not going out and about and we're not spending any money. We use that money to put more money into our long-term savings. And I try each year to put more into our long-term savings in those months. Can't do it in July because we have so little money in that month in our budget anyway. So set your parameters on where your money's going to go and what you're not going to buy. Maybe you're going to say to yourself, I'm not going to go for coffee, or maybe you might say to yourself, I am going to take my lunch to work every single day this month. Maybe you do that anyway, but you are going to set your own parameters and they are unique to you, just in the same way that they are unique to us. So have a look at what you spend money on and what you're not going to spend your money on, and set your own parameters. Now, if you saw last week's video, you know it was a whole video on being organised and how that can save you money. And 3 here is kind of a whistle-stop tour on that very topic. If you're going to have a no-spend month, you're going to have to be quite an organised person. You're going to have to know all the money coming in, all the money going out, and have a set up and working budget in place. If you've got a set up and working budget in place, and you know how much your discretionary spending is, and you know what you are spending money on and what you can cut out that month, you're going to be okay about it. But if you are wanting to prepare for a no-spend month, here are just some examples of things that you are going to have to be organised about. All of your bills that you do not pay on a monthly basis. We have taxation that we pay quarterly. We have water bills that we pay bi-annually. We have 3 small property taxes. Our one property tax, I beg your pardon, is broken down into 3 sections. So we do know our property tax has got 3 separate bills. We need to know when those come in. We need to know when the payments for those are. You need to know all the obvious things if you've got children of your own and they are still living with you at home. All the term dates, all the events and things that happen, And some of them are on a very rotational basis, aren't they? You know the end of term's going to come up. There's going to be social events at the end of term. You know towards the Christmas period, then the UK in particular, there's a whole period of fundraising that happens around that time. You know Book Week, Poetry Day, Sports Day, all of those things are going to happen on a regular basis. They are no surprise. You know about dental appointments, car servicing, home maintenance things that are going to have to be done, when the lawnmower has to go to be serviced, and so on and so forth. If you're not organised and you want to do a no spend month, you do need to get these things organised first. They need to be on your calendar, they need to be in your savings plan, and they need to be somewhere on your sinking fund. And at this point, we will put another link below as well to our last week's video about organisation and a previous video about budgeting and about sinking funds. So I can explain to you from there what I'm talking about here. So if you want to have a no spend month, you're going to have to think about what month is the best month for you. You're going to have to set up your parameters of what you are not going to buy in that month and what you are going to buy in that month. And you need to be holistically organised about your money before you get there. So it might be a good time, before you set those rules about what you're not going to buy, is making sure that you've got your budget in place, that you've got your sinking funds in place, and that you've got your savings in place. So you are indeed organised. My fourth point is where if you're going to have a no spend month, you're going to need to plan what you're going to do in that month. Because if you're a person who regularly has takeaways, what are you going to eat instead of the takeaways? If you're somebody who always picks up food on the way to work, what are you going to do instead? You're going to have a plan in place. So you're going to have to plan meals if you've never done that before. You're going to have to plan something in your freezer. If you're someone who always has a pizza or a takeaway on a Friday night, the simplest way to get around that would be within your meal plan, within your food budget, to have something in the freezer like frozen pizzas that you can just take out on those nights you don't want to cook, or have something in place. It's a good night to have a baked potato with just some tuna in it and some sweet corn. Plan to do something instead. Are you someone who likes to spend your day off browsing charity shops and going out and about and spending money? What are you going to do instead? Now, in our no spend month, we set ourselves challenges and things that we need to get done around the house. It's lovely weather in July. So in July, it's a time that we want to get our wood split, stacked and put away. That's one thing. We're working on our barn. We want to spend at least a couple of hours, 5 days a week, working on our barn. Those are just two examples, and we've set ourselves good challenges too. We want to make sure in July we get out and about a day every single week, pack a picnic from the food we already have at home, and challenge ourselves in that month to go out and go and see places that cost us nothing at all and get out and about. So there is an important part of your planning too. Plan for yourself. What are you going to do differently that month? If you're not going to spend money, what are you going to do instead? Maybe you could set yourselves challenges of things you want to do. It could be just clean out your wardrobe, clean out your closet, but set yourselves the things to do instead of spending money. My fifth and final point about preparing for a no spend month is about preparing and thinking about and being ready for what we call pressing the frugal reset button. Because Often when I share my frugal lives with people, people will point out things that I do, or things that I don't do, or things that they do, or things that they don't do. And what we all do as frugal people is every now and then we evaluate our practices, we evaluate our money spending, and we evaluate our money saving. So it's a good time to put a plan in place that you are going to put into action within a no spend month. And there are things that we like to do when we press the Frugal Reset button. We like to go back to really making sure that we are only using water effectively and sparingly, that we're not leaving the shower running any longer, we're having short showers, is just an example. We like to make sure that we are being as thrifty as possible with our use of energy. We make sure that we only in that month use our mini oven and not our main oven. That if I'm going to cook vegetables, for example, if I cooked potatoes, green beans and carrots, that I cook them all in the same saucepan together, not in separate saucepans. That's just an example. Personal to us, we have an energy tariff that gives us cheap rate electricity between 11:30 at night and 7:30 in the morning. When we press that Frugal Reset button, we absolutely make sure that we use our dishwasher and our washing machine on timer only in that time. It'd be very easy to just think to ourselves, I'll do 2 loads of washing today because it's really good weather and I'll stick another load on in the daytime. No, when we press the Frugal Reset button, we make sure that we only put it on at night and we use the timer to keep it within the tariff, the cheap rate tariff. So that's what I mean, but it could be different for you. Maybe you've let things slip. Maybe you've started thinking to yourself, oh, a takeaway every now and then won't hurt. And then you're having a takeaway every week. Then you think to yourself, well, it's only a few quid in the charity shop, or this is a discount store, so I can just spend a bit of money. And the next thing you know, you're spending more money than you'd like to spend. You're getting a bit lackadaisical in the supermarket. You're not sticking to your plan and you're not sticking to your budget. And pressing the Frugal Reset button is about sharpening your own focus on what you do want to spend money on and what you don't want to spend money on and what you do want to save, for example. So there we go. That's personal to us. I'm sharing it with you. You might find that useful, but it is a good way for you to set your parameters before about how we're going to really look at our behaviour for the month ahead and make sure that we press the Frugal Reset button. We hope that you liked that, or you found it interesting, or that you found it useful. Thank you so much for watching. And on behalf of Mike and I, we'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.